And we all know Gurudev's one pointed means what? So for disciples, it's such a auspicious day to make the appearance of Gurudev in the heart. So with that same love, with that faith, with that devotion, we are singing some songs written by our acharyas, Nirottam Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishnu Chakur Thakur, glorifying Gurudev so that the appearance can come in our heart. He appeared in this world, He appeared in front of our eyes, but they made that manifestation, His appearance, can come in my heart. It is no, we all with attention and devotion, we will all invoke Gurudev's blessings in our heart. Let us take shelter of acharyas who wrote songs glorifying Srila Gurudev. So we already heard from many devotees here. I'm going to sing Samskara Rava of Vishnu Chakur Thakur. Give me melody. Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam. 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 Samsara Dava Navati Daloka Pranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanata. Samsara Dava Navati Daloka Pranaya Karunya Pratyasya Kalyana Guna Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam. Jaya morning, we had program, Yeshiva Sangam. I heard, I never been to Hawaii, I never familiar with devotees here. But Srila Gurudev, once upon a time, he was studying in his room. He said, I went to Hawaii and I heard God's sisters singing Hari Hari, Vipade Janama Gavai. He was telling to the devotees, they were massaging him. And he said, when I heard her singing, it really melts my heart. I was in tears. So I was wondering, who's that God's sister who sang this song?
Probably Chinny.
It's Chinny.
That's her nickname, I know. I was wondering who's Chinny. So I request Didi, please. Remembering Srila Gurudev for his pleasure. He really liked that and he really liked your singing. And that's the nature of Mahabharata's pure devotees. They accept our emotions, they have feelings. So to honor Srila Gurudev, to remember him, like this bhajan for his pleasure, we're going to hear this song from him. Hare Krishna Gurudev ki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaye Priyatmane Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Kamale Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Gaura Sarchitramit Nidhi Gauram Sarvam Stuve Gaurena Pratitam Rasya Bhajanam Gauram Sarvam Dare Gauraste Kirpalu Ratrina Paro Gauratsya Vritya Sabhavam Gaur Gauramacharami Bhagavan Gaur Prabhu Rakshamam Bhagavan Gaur Prabhu Rakshamam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pramada Vadana Leela Kandare Kandarate Rachayati Navayuno Dandamasmi Namada Iti Kevatavamasa Lagnatasya Dyorame Nichanikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatam Nichanikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatam Bhaktya Vihinaya Paradalakshe Shivtasya Kamaditarandu Madhye Kripamayitam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Radha Chinta Niveshinam Yasya Kanti Vilopitaha Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingitam Vikraham Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone in this session of hearing the glories, the memories, the contribution of Srila Gurudev with one purpose, that Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttam Agat. May I can develop that attachment to the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev. And who is teaching us? Shri Narottam Thakur is teaching us while he is addressing this in glorification of his Guru Padma, Shri Loknath Goswami. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttam Agat. Chakshudan Divajayi Janme Janme Prabhu Se. He is my Prabhu. He is my Lord. And how can I develop that attachment to the lotus feet of my Guru Padma? Shri Narottam Thakur also teaching us idol. Who is our object of worship? And he clearly saying this. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada Sei Mora Bhajana Pujan Sei Vrata Sei Tapa Sei Mora Mantra Japa. Shri Narottam Thakur is a big rahasya, secret behind his composing this bhajan, which is a favorite bhajan of our entire Guru Parampara. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he wanted to hear this bhajan in his final pastimes. And similarly, our Srila Gurudev, my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, everyone, the aim and object of sadhakas of Gaudiya Vaishnava is to attain what? The lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami. And Shri Narottam Thakur is guiding us, teaching us, saying, Kabe Loknath Sangya Laya Jave, Shri Rupa Pad Padme Mor Samarpive. Oh, when the day will come in my life, when my Guru Maharaj, Shri Loknath Goswami, will take my hands in hands and offer me at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Manjari. Shri Loknath Goswami's Manjulari Sakhi. But everyone follow the footsteps of Shri Rupa Manjari. In that realm where the intimate pastimes of Shri Radha Krishna takes place. And this the contribution, speciality of Srila Gurudev. He goes deep into that point to make us understand what is the speciality of Shri Rupa Manjari. She even stops Lalita Sakhi to go inside the groves of Radha Krishna. Even though Rupa Manjari is serving under guidance of Lalita Sakhi. But in Nikunja Leela, the prominence of Shri Rupa Manjari, she even stops Lalita Sakhi. Many scholars in Shri Vrindavan Dham, when Shri Gurudev is introducing as Shri Rupa Sanatana Gaudiya this conference in glorification of Shri Rupa Goswami, he used to invite so many scholars, all learned scholars. My goodness, that was 3-4 days. We only hearing one word, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami. Gurudev was like giving injection. Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami. And at the end of everyone they speak their whatever they have to say. Gurudev always used to conclude with something new and special, which made all the scholars Muyanti Yasuraya. They all get bewildered. Wow, Narayan Maharaj brought up such a deep point. And many times we have seen for them it's difficult to digest this. But this is true. Many Pandits are there in Vrindavan, in Brajmandal. For them it's difficult to digest this, how Rupa Manjari can stop Lalita Sakhi. Whereas Shri Rupa Manjari is serving under Lalita Sakhi, under her guidance, under her instructions. But particularly in this Kunja, Leela, Shri Rupa Manjari stops Lalita Sakhi to come inside. No, you can't. Because Radha Krishna is performing very intimate pastime, they will feel shy. But when Manjaris are around, they have no reservations. And what Manjaris are getting in return, they're always, this is what Gurudev is explaining, they're always busy in serving the pastimes. And pastime is one after another, one after another, one after another. It's endless. And there's so much services. So many gopis, so many manjaris. My goodness, what Radha Krishna is doing. So much service is required there. And this is called Kinkari Bhav. Understand? Manjari Bhav is Kinkari Bhav. And who introduced this? From Guru Parampara, yesterday we were discussing Krishna, Brahmaji, Naraji, Ved Vyaji, Madhvacharyaji, and then a little twist in our line from Shri Madhavendra Puripal. And Shri Madhavendra Puripal, in his final pastime, is lamenting in that separation, that Vipralambha. This is something very important and common in Krishna, in Mahaprabhu, and entire Guru Parampara. Tasting that Vipralam Bhav. Srimad Bande Puripad, what is his personality? Only 3 personalities can taste that Madanakya Bhav. Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srimad Bande Puripad. That's all. Gurudev said this. Only 3 personalities. In such high position, but in lamentation, in separation, he's calling out, crying and saying, Aye Deen Deyar Nath He Mathura Nath Kadam Lokashe. Hidem Tav Avlok Katram Dait Brahmati Kim Karom Meham. Oh, the Lord of Mathura, where are you? Where are you? I cannot see you. My heart bursts to have your darshan. Bursting to have your darshan. Kim karom meham? What shall I do? What shall I do? Kim karom meham means what shall I do? So this kinkari bhav is what? Kim karom meham. Kim karom meham. What shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do more? This is kinkari bhav. Srimad Bande Puripad, he gave this hint. So kinkaris means manjaris. What they are doing? Under the guidance of Shri Rupa Manjari, they are arranging one after another, one after another, one after another, so many pastimes. What they get in return? In Govind Lilamrit, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explaining. Shadgun Adhikam Shanti Tamna Chitram. It's not astonishing at all. They are getting 100 times more pleasure. The pleasure which Radha Krishna being together driving in that meeting. And Manjaris are always far distance. But because they are tadatme, oneness with Radharani, whatever reflecting on Radharani, get 100 times more reflecting on the Manjaris. In that bliss and in the separation. Both. In the meeting of bliss of meeting and separation. Srila Gurudev used to bring up this such important essence. Difficult for them, scholars, to understand this. Because they only depend on the books. That's all. But even reading books is not everything. Guru Seva is more important than studying books. I'm not saying this, please. Gurudev said this, and one of the scholars, I'll not tell his name, but Gurudev used to send me and my godbrother Madhav Prabhu to him to have, Sanskrit translation, because he familiar with Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. And he used to give us dictation and we are writing because we are not familiar with Sanskrit. And it's so deep point of Jiva Goswami, commentaries of Jiva Goswami, so deep beyond our imagination. So he's dictating. Once upon a time he was telling us and we were writing and we stopped. And my godbrother Madhav Prabhu said, Maharaj, please forgive me if I am offending you, but we never heard this from Gurudev like this. Then he said, oh, then what? Your Gurudev Narayan Maharaj? He said, oh, yes. Actually what he is saying is right. Because Sanskrit language there's so many twists and there's so many details. One word makes so much change in the whole meaning of the words. Just one word. And then he said this openly. He said, oh, I'm thinking I'm scholar because I've done PhD in Rupa Goswami books. Because he done PhD in Rupa Goswami books. But Guru Seva, the PhD of Guru Seva is more important than studying PhD Rupa Goswami books. Because Sri Narayan Maharaj, he said, he served his Guru Parampara throughout his life. So it's not because of knowledge, but realization. And what I am hearing from you, boys, as you saying, your Gurudev said this, and never ever thought of this. And that becomes a change in my whole concept till now, in so many years of this point. Imagine. This is how Srila Gurudev used to bring up such deep points, glorifying Sri Rupa Goswami. Srila Gurudev, he said, we heard from him only, in that Rupa Goswami conference in Vrindavan, Rupa Sanatan Varyamar. Rupa Manjari is present in Rupa Goswami, but Rupa Goswami is not present in Rupa Manjari. Now, everyone is looking to what Gurudev is saying. It's one and the same thing. Rupa Manjari is Rupa Goswami. Gurudev said no. Even though they are same, but there's some difference. The parikars, the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the speciality of that parikar is, the parikar of Mahaprabhu, speciality is that the parikar from Golok Vrindavan is present in them. But the parikar of Golok Vrindavan, parikar of Mahaprabhu is not present in them. That means what Gurudev wants to highlight. Shri Rupa Manjari is so busy in serving Radha Krishna, divine couple, so busy. She has no time for jivas like us. But when Shri Rupa Manjari comes as associate of Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, then he has so much pain for us. So, in his Rupa Manjari form, he is serving Radha Krishna. But also, as Rupa Goswami, he is writing Shri Ujjwal Nilmani, describing the qualities of Radharani, describing so many details, how many kinds of Krishna are there? 96. Dhir Lalit, Dhirodat, Dhirshant, 4. When Krishna exhibits different qualities, 4 categories. Then Purn, Purnatar, Purnatam, complete, most complete. 4 into 3, 12. Then Pati and Upapati, means husband and farmer. 12 into 2, 24. And then Anukul, Shat, Drisht and Dakshin. It's all Ujjwal Nilmani. So that comes 96. So many details Rupa Goswami Pad is saying, writing. Srila Gurudev used to bring up this. Ujjwal Nilmani and Bhakti Samya Sindhu. Gurudev said, this is the best, my favorite books. Bhakti Samya Sindhu giving all details of how many kind of flute Krishna's carrying. There's Vamshi, there's Murali and there's Venu. 3 different sizes, how many holes and how much difference in each and every holes. That many details Rupa Goswami is giving. What is the color of Dasya Ras? What is the color of Sakhya Ras? What is the color of Vatsalya Ras? What is the color defining Madhur Ras? And giving details of each and every ornament of Krishna. That many details. So Srila Gurudev used to bring up this. And then he said, Ujjwal Nilmani, only Madhurya Ras, describing the qualities of Radharani. Where Shukdev Goswami felt little hesitant to even utter the name of Radharani, because so much in love in Radharani that he will fall unconscious if he once utter the name. And Jayadev Goswami, his pen stopped when he's visualizing Smaragala Khandanam, Mama Sharisi Mandanam, Dehi Pad Palla Udaram. Oh Radhe, in your separation, I'm not seeing you. In your separation, this poison of separation is rising to my head. How to cool down this? Only one solace. Only one. What is that? Place your lotus feet on my head. And I'm offering my flute and peacock feather on your lotus feet. Gurudev introduced this. Jayadev Goswami cannot write this. But Rupa Goswami openly writing this. Describing the qualities of Radharani. चारु सौभाग्य रेखाटया गंतोन्मादित माधवा संगीत परसर विज्ञा रम्य वाक नर्म पंडिता विनीत करुणा पूर्ण विदग्ध पट्टान्विता लज्जाशील सुमर्यादया धैर्य गंभीर शालिनी सुविलास महाभाव परमोत्कर्ष दर्शनी गोकुल प्रेम वसती जगत श्रेणी जगत रसा गुरु अर्पिता गुरु स्नेहा सखी प्रणति वश कृष्ण प्रियावली मुख्य संतन आश्रय केशव. Describing openly. These are only subheadings, but there are so many verses. He's giving each and every detail of Radharani's qualities and her beauty. That's Rupa Goswami. So, following the footsteps of Acharyas, Narottam Thakur and all, Rupa Goswami is our attaining the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami is our aim and object. Because the mission of Sri Rupa Goswami, Gurudev said, is my mission. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my mission. My mission is not different from any other mission. So Rupa Manjari is present in Rupa Goswami, but Rupa Goswami is not present in Rupa Manjari. The Vaishishte of, the speciality of Gaur Parikar. Gurudev used to highlight this. And everyone, scholars not only on invitation, they actually waiting for the invitation to come because they wanted to hear from Srila Gurudev. And because they are maintaining their profile status, so invitation is required. Because they are renowned, very, very renowned. They are only coming to not only speaking, but hearing from Srila Gurudev. Hearing from him. And Gurudev always in the last. In the last, he used to say, oh, these are big pundits and scholars. I never ever learned Sanskrit in my life. I just somehow boldly said, I served my Gurudev. That's true, but I never learned Sanskrit in my life. Therefore, I came to Vrindavan. I'm not Brajavasi, but I came to Vrindavan, Braj Mandal, and surviving on the remnants of Brajvasis. And what I've learned from Brajvasis, I'm only speaking them. So what is the mean Brajvasis? What is indicating to? To whom is indicating Brajvasis? Not those scholars who have taken birth in Braj is Brajvasis. But when he's saying Brajvasis, he's addressing to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's Brajvasi. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada is Brajvasi. Goswamis Brajvasis. Sarup Damodar Goswami is Brajvasi. Shri Sarup Damodar Goswami never throughout his lifespan, never one day he entered Brajadham. Never one day. But he is addressed as Brajvasi. Oh, he never ever stepped in Vrindavan. How is Brajvasi? Because he is always back with the moods of Braj. Brajavasi. So Gurudev, his speciality. This is his contribution. Giving us information. What is our Guru Parampara is pointing out. What is our Guru Parampara and where we have to go. What is our final goal. And we have to follow the footsteps of Srinottam Thakur. Srinottam Thakur. And so, I will keep on speaking like that. So, no, I have so many senior devotees here. I feel embarrassed sometimes. I want to hear from them also. So, since I said this, and actually I started speaking this, seeing Manjari Didi sitting here, so senior devotee, she used to arrange those Rupa Goswami conferences, the morning session, English session, so entire world, English speaking devotees can also hear the glories of Rupa Goswami. So this is her seva for Srila Gurudev, and we are proud of that. Please come forward and speak few words in glorification of Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pracharani. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasacha Deshatani. Nanda Shabadaya Radhikaya Maya. Shishiman Bhaktivedanta Madhaya. Shri Krishna Deva Katani Siddhaksha. Audaya Madhurya Gunashta Yuktam. Param Varanya Purusham Mahanam. Narayana Pramashirasana. Yam Pravajantam Peta Peta Krityam. Dvaipayano Viraha Katava Ajivama. Vikreti Tanmayakaya Taravo Genitus. Tan Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. I'm praying like that, hopefully. Praying like that, hopefully. Srila Gurudev will help me to glorify Him. Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. So, Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj is kind of asking me to speak. I find myself embarrassed by lack of qualification. And today there was this Zoom Bhakti, as I think it's called. It's from Yashodananda Prabhu does a Zoom conference, glorifying Gurudev. And so I spoke, and the subject was harmony. And I have to say that I couldn't relate to the subject at all. I spoke just terribly. And so I've been thinking about this because Srila Gurudev, obviously, it was his design, knowing that I never agreed that the book should be named Harmony, and that I didn't really like the book when it came out. And I have a lot to learn about this subject. But I've been thinking about this, and I can see that on one hand we have the qualities of Vaishnava, that kindness, humility, determination, and perseverance. These are qualities that he, this is a book of different lectures and conversations. And these are the qualities that he expressed that we have to have in order to make our own advancement and in order to help one another. And so, these are definitely things that I've seen. But moreover, in relation to this, he was saying that he was stressing the need that we have to become Vaishnavas like this. And at this platform, what do? We preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was reminded of a verse that I learned from him. It goes, Yata yata gora parada vinda vindeta bhakten krita punya rasi tata tatot sarpati vitya kasma radha padambujo sudambulashi. So those who worship the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with those of great punya who worship with devotion this lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then automatically the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika will arise within the heart. Maharaj, he makes this point in the the gift of Mahaprabhu, that you dive into foreplay and you surface in the love of Radha and Krishna. But he was saying beyond that, I mean, when he was talking about serving Mahaprabhu and serving the mission of Mahaprabhu, following in the footsteps of our acharyas, this is what Srila Prabhupada was giving. This is what he is giving. This is what his Guru Maharaj is giving. This is what his Param Gurudev Sripad Siddhanti is giving. Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This is what we have learned from the Swami. What is this? Is the message of Mahaprabhu, the mission of Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam stuff. Lord Srila Rupa Goswami understood this mission. Therefore, he was able to establish the mission of Mahaprabhu in this world. And therefore, Mahaprabhu, Srila Gurudev is giving is like the festival that gave him the greatest pleasure, as Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj is saying, the Rupa Goswami conference, because he's helping us to learn how Rupa Goswami has understood Mahaprabhu, and how by following him, then we can enter this mission, and then we can preach the message of Mahaprabhu. But this is actually this is one point that he makes clear in this Harmony book. It is incumbent upon us to join the movement of Mahaprabhu, to preach what Mahaprabhu came to give, and that now this is like the fruit of our practicing and learning, imbibing all these qualities, the harmony qualities, that we will be representatives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we will be able to join this movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in that way give mercy for Sri Sripad and Krishna. So, anyway, I didn't say those things in your talk. It just didn't come out right. But anyway, so that's what I was thinking.
So, this is what Srila Gurudev focusing so much on Srila Goswami. Suniya chi sadhu mukhi bole sarva jana Shri Rupa kripaye mile yugala charana. And at the end of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami is writing on Rupa Raghunatha Pade Mora Asha Chaitanya Chaitanya Kare
Krishna
Dasa. Yes. Everyone is pointing on this. So Srila Gurudev said, this is our aim. This is our objective. To attain the service of Shri Rupa Mataji under her instruction, serving divine couple Radha Krishna. Not less than this. Not less than this. Even if Krishna comes and give us greed to come to Vaikuntha and other liberations, learn to say no to Krishna. Because we don't want anything less than this. Once upon a time in Grastha's house in Delhi, Gurudev asked this question to one lady, that what if immediately now I will take you to Vaikuntha, immediately. There is no suffering, there is no illusion, nothing there. would you like to go? She said, no. No? Why not? She said, because I only want one goal which you taught us. Radha Dasyam. Understand? So the word Radha Dasyam and Shri Bhakti Narayan Goswami Maharaj is very much related. Because Srila Gurudev Mukta Hasta, without any hesitation, he spreaded this everywhere for us to follow this. But with that, many people they used to say Narayan Maharaj is making this very cheap. People are not qualified. So they're saying so many things. But they never ever associate with Srila Gurudev. Because not only Gurudev is giving this greed in the heart, but is also telling us, he used to tell us, how to attain that Radha Dasya. It cannot be attainable if we are not serving divine couple like Goswamis. Mahavivalo. He Radhe Braj Devi ke chalalite, He Nanda Suno Kuta, Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale, Kalindi Vane Kuta, Ghoshantaviti Sarvato Brajapure, He Mahavivalo, Vande Rupa Sanatana Rajito, Shri Jiva Gopalako. Without Mahavivalo, you cannot get this. Without that restlessness, you cannot get this. So, sadhan and sadhe. Buddha used to give both sadhan and sadhe. And he wants everyone to come Brajmandal, at least with your body, to see those places of pastime. Isn't this karuna, the compassion? Because he wants everyone to come Brajmandal, to have Brajvas. Following footsteps of Brajvas is Braj Lokanusara. That way. I will not speak more. I will invite Chandrika Devi. Please come forward. She is so senior devotee. She is associate. Srila Swami Prabhupada served him so much. And she knows so many details of Srila Gurudev. She associates so much with Srila Guru Govind Goswami Maharaj. So,
Haribo.
Turn it up.
From the top. I offer my respectful obeisances unto A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to Bhaktivedanta Srila Narayan Maharaj, and all my respects to you, Maharaj, and to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj mentioned a speciality of Srila Gurudev, that he is giving a comparison or a way of showing how the variety of the height and the progress of devotion, and by that comparison we could understand the levels of bhakti. So I just wanted to mention another very prominent feature of Srila Gurudev's Katha, and that is reconciliation. And the ability to reconcile what is achintya, are inconceivable. So I just picked one topic today, and I'm just going to give a few points about it, and Maharaj will correct me if I make any mistakes. So the topic is the controversy between Parakiya and Swakiya. So Swakiya means wedded love, and Parakiya means unwedded love. So in our mundane conception, Dharma, wedded love, is a higher conception for us because we're in a very fallen condition. But the highest spiritual conception of love is actually Parakiya, or unwedded love. So sometimes it's very confusing for devotees like ourselves to understand how there could be a difference of opinion amongst very prominent Vaishnavas. So in Srila Gurudev's translation of Radha-Vartman Chandrika by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives a reconciliation of why Jiva Goswami sometimes presented Swakiya as being the topmost, and why it isn't the topmost, and how we can make a reconciliation. So in Radha-Vartman Chandrika, in the commentary, he's saying that Jiva Goswami, in his commentary on verse 221, is saying that he's supporting Rupa Goswami's opinion that Parakiya is the topmost, because in other places he would present the Swakiya was higher. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it's not possible for Srila Jiva Goswami, who's an ardent follower of Rupa Goswami, to ever disagree, especially not in regard to the topmost level of love. Therefore, throughout the Goswamis knew, and our acharyas understand, that throughout Jiva Goswami's books, he's presenting and supporting Rupa Goswami's conclusion. In Ujjvala Nilamani, Rupa Goswami says that there are two aspects to the paramour love, to love of the divine. One aspect is husband, and the other aspect is lover or paramour. And Jiva Goswami says that, he said he agrees, and he said, yes, that's true. And in Dwarka, it's Swakiya or husband, but in Raj, it's paramour. So the conclusion is the same. So why did Jiva Goswami give a conclusion that isn't topmost? So Srila Gurudev, who is so high in reconciliation, understanding these deep, higher topics, he explains to us that it was actually because of Jiva Goswami's compassion that he gave that. Sometimes gave Swakiya as being the topmost. Why did he do that? It was because some persons have less of an ability or a different approach to the divine and wouldn't be able to understand Parakiya. And if they didn't have faith in the higher levels of love of Radha Krishna, then that would be devastating for them. So he's giving them faith in something that isn't the highest, but something that they can put their faith in. And that also allows them to enter the high levels of Ras. Not the topmost, but the high levels of Ras. And at the same time, Srila Gurudev says that, but we must be very cautious, because we want our love to go to the highest level. So we're not accepting that Swakiya is the highest, even though Jiva Goswami presents that sometimes. He said we must accept the highest conception, and we need to bring it into our sadhana. Without bringing the highest conception into our sadhana, we will not be able to achieve our highest goal. So I want to offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Gurudev and give my gratitude for, of course, everything that he did, but especially for me, reconciliation of difficult topics and any confusion that we might have in our regarding our acharyas and their differences of opinion, it's so important that we remove any doubt. And I fully appreciate that he was able to do this for us. And I just want to mention that his name is Narayan. It was always Narayan, Narayan Tiburi, or Narayan is a brahmachari, and Srila Narayan Maharaj and Narayan, one meaning is that he offers shelter to all jivas. So I'm saying that he did that, he can do that, and he will always do that eternally. Hari Bol.
Wonderful glorification of Srila Gurudev. Very important point she brought up. And that was a big issue. Many devotees were not able to understand because difference of opinion. Shri Jiva Goswami Park, we see if we read Gopal Champu, he's narrating the marriage of Radha Krishna. He's Gopal Champu. And he's disciple of Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami, Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Vina Bhutale, is establishing the inner heart desire of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is Parkya Bhava. Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Sam Sindhu, everywhere taking the evidences from Bhagavatam, the verses from Bhagavatam, establishing Parkya Bhava. Then how is possible? Shri Jiva Goswami is introducing Swakya Bhava. Confusion. What is Parkya Bhava? Not just unwedded love. Simply saying unwedded love, Parkya Bhava. But there are 4 ingredients present in that Parkya Bhava. What are those 4 ingredients? Prachan Kamukta, Durlabhta, Vamata, and Nivaranta. These 4 ingredients, if not present, cannot be called Parkya Bhava. Prachan Kamukta means concealed desires. Durlabhta means achievement with great difficulty. So in wedded love there is no great difficulty. And we say in Parkya Bhav, how Gopis and Radharani, Krishna is striving day and night. He is at Kokila one whole night singing like a cuckoo bird to see Radharani. Whole night, so much endeavors, so much difficulty, disguise himself as sannyasi in so many ways, Bengal seller, etc. It's not that easy to meet. So this is another ingredient. Durlabhta, very rare. Achievement with great difficulty. That's the second ingredient. Third is Vamata. What is Vamata? Leftist mood. Understand? The queens, the rightist mood, submissive mood. But gopis are not like that. Vamata bhav. Only and only for the pleasure of Krishna. Because he likes to pacify the sulky mood. He likes that. And that's why for his pleasure, they accept the Vamata bhav, the leftist mood. Hetur ahetu yuna man uchyate. Radharani is manifesting sulky mood with cause, without cause. Sometimes there is some cause, sometimes there is not even a cause. Sometimes there is a cause. Like, for instance, at Barsana, Chandra Sarovar, Radharani said, Krishna, can you describe the beauty of my face? And Krishna just came from the Kunja of Chandravali. And he's having Chandravali in his head. So when Shri Radharani said, can you describe my beauty? Krishna said, your face is like Chandra, moon. Instead of saying Chandravali, he said Chandra like moon. And Radharani became so angry and upset. Do I have spots on my face like moon? So Durjayman. So there is a cause. But sometimes there is no cause. And he has to do so much efforts to pacify Radharani. So much efforts. This is how Buddha used to describe those pastimes. And sometimes there is no cause. But Radharani's Manani, and this is only to please Krishna, because he loves to pacify Radha. And once upon a time, Krishna has his desire, okay, let me maintain Man, and I want Radha to pacify me. Understand? Always she is manifesting sulky mood. I want to manifest sulky mood. So he came Nidhuban prior to the scheduled time, intentionally came, and when Radharani came punctual in time, Krishna was already there, and when Radharani walked in, Krishna just turned his face around, just imitating Radharani, like how she does. Imitation, because he wants to see how Radharani will pacify him. So he just turned his face around, and Radharani just said, "Oh, Pran Nath, oh my beloved Shyam Sundar." Just hearing this, his heart melted and he turned his face. Yes. Yes, Pran Vallabha. Yes, oh my dear. So he cannot maintain that. Only Radharani. So this is Durlabhta. Okay? Prachan Kamukta, Durlabhta, Vamata. And the fourth is Nivaranta. Opposition is there. Yeah. And Man. These ingredients are present in unwedded love. Means that Paramar mood. Upapati Bhava. Upapati Bhava. Not just unwedded love, Paramar mood. That's unwedded love in material language. But we are speaking about that. We are speaking about the transcendental Upapati Bhava, Paramar mood. So these ingredients are present there. Achievement with great difficulty. Wedded love, there's no difficulty. Staying together all the time. There's no mamata there, etc. So Jiva Goswami, out of compassion, Srila Gurudev, I'm just repeating her words. Out of compassion for people who are not able to digest this, they have different approach. Oh, and they were offending the pastimes of Krishna, offending Krishna for this. So compassion on them. Time, place, circumstance. Acharyas always keep this in mind. So that's why the instructions and the orders given to individuals and universal. Understand? Sometimes we see it is not correlated. Gurudev told me this, Gurudev told me that. But universally he said or is written something else. So there comes some conflict. But why he told me this and told her that depends on time, place, circumstance. And in every approach of Acharyas, there's one thing, compassion, karuna. Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, raising his index finger, putting on his chest. So many kings are there. What is saying? Aham sarvasva prabho. I am the Lord of everyone. Matta sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me. Boldly saying this. And there Krishna can say this in Braj to his sakhas. I am the Lord of everyone. Everything emanates from me. And the sakhas will throw him on the ground and jump on his shoulder. He cannot say this. And at Kurukshetra, Krishna cannot say, no, I am not Lord. I am your sakhas. What is the circumstance? What is the situation? Everything has to be balanced. So, this is wonderful point what she brought up. Because many Pandits in Vrindavan, they still don't believe this. They say Jiva Goswami never followed Rupa Goswami. Even though he is disciple of Rupa Goswami, he deviated. But Gurudev said no. And there was one Pandit who raised so many objections and pointing out to our system Saraswata Dhara. this stream of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. What is this saffron cloth about? What is the Tridanda Sannyas? This is just newly introduced. This is not in Shastras. Also, Sri Jiva Goswami point all these points. He started speaking this, and he was very famous. Gurudev cannot tolerate this because Gurudev was, protecting the Sampradaya, the Vichar of Sampradaya. So he wrote that 5 essential essays, this book. He wrote in Hindi. Prabandha Panchakam. 5 essays. And refuting all arguments and giving evidence. Tridanda Sannyas is bona fide. How is bona fide? Not only in this Kali Yuga, from other yugas. When Ravan came to kidnap Sita Devi, he came as Tridanda Sannyasi. Which yuga is that? Treta Yuga. But which Treta Yuga?
24.
Not this Treta Yuga. Ram didn't came in this Treta Yuga. Shri Ram came in 24th Chaturyugi of Brahma. That Treta Yuga. And now currently this is 28th Chaturyugi of Brahma. Shri Ram didn't came in this Chaturyugi Treta Yuga. He came in Brahma's 24th Chaturyugi Treta Yuga. That long back. Ravan came to kidnap Sita Devi, disguised as Tridanda Sannyasi. Then also in Dwapar Yuga, Srila Gurudev said, when Arjun kidnapped Subhadra, he came as Tridanda Sannyasi. And many points there. When Srila Gurudev wrote this book, he presented this book to this Pandit. Read this. All points to subtle. And that's the role of Acharya. Protecting Sampradaya. Like Param Gurudev, like Srila Prabhupada, they play 2 roles. And what is that? One is a fencing, a strong fencing, so that up Sampradayas should not attack the morals of our Sampradaya. So for them, they are bold, they are very strong. It's very strong wall. But what is inside the strong wall is a beautiful garden. Beautiful flowers. Param Gurudev is so bold, refuting so many arguments. Those who are opposed, the ideals of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he never tolerated anything. Boldly refuting their arguments. So, Lion Guru, so strong. But what is inside? Inside that fencing, inside that wall, Radha Chinta Niveshinam, Yasya Kanti Vilopita, Shri Krishna Charanam Vande, Radha Linditam Vikrama. How Shri Krishna in the mood of Radha Rani, calling out Radhe, 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 and he lost his complexion. Beautiful explanation of Radha Vinod Vihari Ashtakam. That's the glories. Srila Gurudev protected the Sampradaya Vichar. Jiva Goswami, 100% following his Gurudev, Sri Rupa Goswami. 100%. So we need that vision to see what was the time, what was the circumstances, and why he did this. This is very important to know. Thank you so much, Devi. I'll work on the Hari Prabhu. Yeah. You want chair? Please give me chair. It's a mic.
Maganati Mirandasya Ginanjara Sarakaya Chakshurmanavitanyena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Shamyavadi Prastacharya Satari Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswaminiti Namine. Talking about qualification, all of you, there are some others in your co-brothers here and god-sisters actually we could talk. But it's my duty to glorify in my capacity the lotus feet, the character of Srila Gurudev, my Shiksha Gurudev, and in that I'll attempt to do something and forgive for my mistakes. And, I was just thinking, when did I ever met Srila Gurudev for the first time? And as Maharaj said, physical contact is not the most important thing. Proximity, physical proximity. Although it gives that Bapu is very valuable because I don't know Krishna. I don't have any love for Krishna or Radha. But we have a great compassion. They have great compassion on us to give us their pure devotees. And we can then talk, contact them, be embraced or embrace them, touch their feet, but mostly get their instructions, verbal instructions. So to that, then there are actually the outer manifestation of Paramatma, the partial manifestation of Narayan, of Krishna actually. So the first time I met Srila Gurudev, it's actually the first I heard the descriptions by my wife, Sripad, when she first met him in 1977, and she got a chance to serve him by following a little instruction, and it was the Mahotsava of Srila Prabhupada, the Viraha Mahotsava, the first one, and Gurudev said, "Oh, I want you to do." She was introduced. He wasn't speaking English, as you told me. Excuse me. And he said, "I want you to do." I was trying to remember the name. And it's,
Ginger.
Yeah, Murad. So it's a preparation that Srila Prabhupada, we'll find out all this later, but he asked her to do that preparation. And so I heard his glories, a little bit of it. Some of it is how can we describe everything about such an amazing personality. But it's like that, the two poles are there, two ends are there. They're omniscient, they're like Krishna, so much like the outer manifestation of Krishna. So those two things are there. One is that they're omniscient, sarvagya, and then they're muddata, they're innocent. Apparently they don't know. So my first time was actually that, but second time it was 1989. Actually, I arrived in Vrindavan with my mother's ashes, and with my father and sister. My father then took initiation in Govardhan. It was quite a year. But as I came into Krishna Balaram Mandir, the godbrother had a table with Gurudev's first maybe it's not the first. Remember the Parikrama book? It's pink in color. It has a name.
It was in English.
it was in English, and he was very guarded. I mean, my godbrothers that I met actually in front of the temple said, "Oh, where are you staying?" "I'm staying at Rup Sanatana," but they wouldn't say, "Oh, come," invited me. So there was a little suspicion, how much I was into what's going on, and there was all this. But at that time, actually, still, the appreciation for Srila Gurudev was there. So when I got the book, it just blew me away. I never heard descriptions of the pastimes, descriptions of the places of pastimes that Srila Gurudev wrote. So hearing was the first time, because reading is like hearing, isn't it? And so I read the book in a few hours, but it never entered my mind it was possible to meet such personality. And then I was busy with all this, my mother's ceremony, and then my father actually wanted to take initiation. So he was 82 years old. So, but what it did to my heart, it only came as it reminded me of what it was to be sitting at the lotus feet of my spiritual master and hearing him. What it did to my heart, and then of course it got magnified and proven by meeting him. It was much later on, but that was another game. I think Gurudev was working in my heart, my suspicions, of I don't know, the sannyas. He was associating with all these other so-called gurus that used to call later on kangaroos, and so that's how it came out to me. So that was, but then Trini told me, no, this is who he is. So we got a phone call from that time Urukram Prabhu, Padmanabha Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj now, that Siddhanti Maharaj was arriving in Los Angeles. It was 1996, and so we got all ready, and they asked if he could stay at our place. I was, of course, so then we got another call. There was just only recording machines.
No cell phones.
No cell phones. So it was another message was left. Is no, Gurudev decided to go straight to the preaching or the place. It was in Placentia, I think. I'm not sure. We probably were there. So we rushed. Trini made a garland, and we rushed to the airport, and so brought a garland, brought a mridanga, and received him. And we saw him coming alone. Actually, for some reason, there in Los Angeles, there is a whole at that time international flights, and you had to walk pretty much by yourself coming out of customs. But the bodies had gone to him. I think they greeted him. And everybody was running to their cars, so we didn't see anybody at the airport, except Gurudev. And so he was very serious, actually. I put the garland and paid my obeisances, and we introduced, we say who we were. He just nodded and walked to the sidewalk, and then a van pulled up, and at that time was Naveen Brahmachari and Madhav Maharaj. And they left, and I said, "Do you know where they're going?" "No." So it was like that, hit and miss. Then we came to Hawaii. At that time we traveled quite often, and so we came to Hawaii, and we went to the North Shore. We used to come every year. And anyhow, make a story short, he was working on us. The desire was increasing nice to meet him, to get to know him. And we finally did, or partially up to our capacity, we can fully know this great personality. So I'm not very well versed with all the Sanskrit verses and Vedic knowledge to describe this personality as my god sisters and god brothers can so eloquently and you, Maharaj. But our dealings were like he instantly became grandfather, friend. He wouldn't let me massage him for a long while. He sent Brajanath Prabhu and Maharaj to tell me that no, he felt a little embarrassed because he thought we were kind of god brothers. Me, but yes, sort of. There was, but then he went beyond, and like he said, I'm closer to you than your life breath, and that's Guru, that's outer Paramatma, that is so close, so close. So he went on to demonstrate that friendship, even though I felt undeserving and so much I wished it. I saw Prabhupada being embraced one time by Kirtananda Maharaj. We were in San Francisco and waiting for Srila Prabhupada to come. It was Ratha Yatra 74, and I saw Kirtananda Maharaj rushing to the door, or 2 doors, and embracing Prabhupada. I said, "Oh, can you do that?" Can you do that? And so, through other god sisters like Madame Belasini, who taught us that, say, what you couldn't really told her, what you couldn't do with Srila Prabhupada, you'd be able to do with me. And so he did. I was able to embrace him. He actually embraced me. And he used to tap on my heart. So he knew that I needed a lot of work, very hard-hearted person. So he used to tap me in the heart.
I saw him punch you in the heart and then take your heart and put it in his pocket.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was. Sometimes it was a little like he was so innocent, that mudata, that childlike. I remember like accompanying him. I used to drive him quite a lot. Driving to the airport in San Francisco, and I would he'd come out of the car and tell without speaking, how do I look? But he was so paka, so perfect, So I would just sometimes look at him, arrange, and then bring me his favorite. I would buy a bunch of lavender. And in California, Santa Cruz is quite a place. You can get a lot of amazing lavender. He loved that. Prabhupada did too. And so I would, once I would look him up and down and make sure everything was okay. And then I would bring out the lavender and he'd go like this and I'd put it in his pocket. So, we brought him one time to, actually we brought some senior disciples, much more senior than me. They were the first ones that traveled to Surat, to India with Srila Prabhupada. And I said, you have to meet him. And so they came to the house, it was San Diego, and they had a nice conversation. But at one point this devotee said, I had to go, I had a meeting with my friends that I had to meet. And it was biblical in a sense, because Gurudev said, and so loudly, Gurudev said, but I'm your friend, I'm your best friend, I'm here. So, I'm sure it can be explained in all these verses that I'm learning, not really learning them because I can't repeat them, but how close the pure devotee is, how close is Gurudev to our heart. So I pray with your blessings that I might continue to delve into this, continue this relationship, And now, through actually, I'm reading today that in 11th canto, I think Krishna rushes to the place where his devotees are praised. So, how important this sangha, what we have brought and offered to us. That by associating now, we bring the Gurudev, we continue to connect with him. So bless me that I can continue this path, that my heart will focus more and more on Srila Gurudev. Panchakapatriyascha kripasindhurascha
Come. It's okay. We have 2 more days. Everyone will get chance. Also, we had this morning glorification. So this wonderful couple from Seattle came all the way to celebrate Srila Gurudev's appearance here with us. And they had very good, Gurudev used to stay in their house in Canada, and they used to host and serve, and very intimate interactions. Gurudev used to tell her daughter, make this, make that. So she can tell better than me. So I request Radha Priya Devi to please say a few words.
Namayam Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmaya Shishima Bhaktivedanta Vinaya Kristana. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to this entire beautiful Sangha. The last few days have just been so inspiring to see so many senior Vaishnavas, so many young Vaishnavas, and we've just been like missing, and I was like, well, this is the best decision that we ever made to follow Maharaj and come and experience all of you. So senior devotees, so senior association, thank you so much. Everybody's taking such good care of us, and just getting to hear some Harikatha has just been so blissful. Srila Maharaj has said to say something, so we're so unqualified in this assembly, but I do want to honor and of course love my Gurudev to the bottom of my heart, and glorify whatever little bit I got something from him. We actually, first heard the glories of Srila Gurudev from Sri Ramchandra Prabhu, so I feel like I got my first darshan of my Srila Gurudev from my ears, and that is so true. When you hear all these Harikatha and you say Krishna is no different than his name, Sri Guru is no different than his name too. That greed to, who's this person? That is so awesome. Oh my God, I need to go and see him like now. And we just packed our bags as soon as the Harikatha finished, and we drove all the way to California from Vancouver. One night stop, and we landed right on the day of the program.
Not just the Harikatha ended. It was a 15 days.
Okay,
Prabhuji
yes.
was staying with us in sorry. We didn't know much of the Vaishnava Shishtachar. We are not grew from ISKCON. So for 15 days, daily Harikatha, 2 and 3 times. So I was tired. I was like, when he leaves, I drop him at the airport, and I literally jumped on my
And I packed
bag.
the bags, and
I
I said,
jumped
the
on my
bags
bag
are
and
packed in the
then-
car, we're going and seeing who this Narayan Maharaj is. And I said, it's not possible to not meet him. And he just, accepted us with loving, open heart. We had no Diksha, we had no Harinam, and he allowed us to cook in his kitchen in Badger. It was so difficult, to be there and to cook for him, because we'd heard, we knew someone from ISKCON, and we're like, well, only qualified devotees can cook for, sannyasis, and we can't cook for them because we didn't have Harinam. And over there, I was like, okay, Narayan Maharaj was like, make me aloo paratha, make me idli, make me dhokla, make me this. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Okay, this is the thing, I guess. Just long story short, the last 1 year has been just so eye-opening for us, because we get to hear the memories of Srila Gurudev. So there's all this tattva and there's all this philosophy in our movement, and then there's these experiences that the devotees, experience about Srila Gurudev. Like, hey, how did you meet Gurudev? Hey, what did he do with you? And we realized, okay, all of Srila Gurudev's daughters here, give me a yay. Yay! And all of Gurudev's daughters here that think that Gurudev loved you the most, give me a yay. And this is how we felt, how Shri Krishna manifested himself into so many gopis, and you can't just imagine that. But when you meet Srila Gurudev's daughters and you hear how much love they have for him, and that's what makes you get like a little bit glimpse of that association that yes, Srila Gurudev has manifested in all of our hearts, like Sri Krishna manifests in the hearts of our gopis. So hearing so many Zoom, memories of so many of our God sisters and God brothers has made us give like a different idea of Srila Gurudev, and gives us that little bit of mood of what we can all achieve through love and through affection. And Srila Gurudev is just that full embodiment of that love. He loved all of us. He loved all of us equally.
No, he loved me the most.
We all felt like that,
All the boys, Gurudev used to love and chastise us the most. Say yay.
Well, okay. Chastisation is also love. I would tell him, because he would come and he would go like this to him, and oh, my beta, my this, my that, and he would just go like this to me, and I'm like, you're being partial a little bit. You love him.
She literally fought with me.
Oh my God.
She literally, I have the video in Houston. She was like very loud voice.
No, because Gurudev didn't hear very well, so I had to speak a little bit louder so that he could hear without translation. I'm like, don't be partial, you're loving him more than me. He's like, no, okay, come on, pat on your head. I look back and I say how immature things were there that, you asked. But whatever I asked, one time, we just got a chance to host him just one time. In 2008, he stayed in our apartment, and everybody had gone.
By the way, Gurudev fought for that. In 2007, we met Gurudev the first time, and Gurudev did that, and his trip was always finalized. Always his trip was finalized a year in advance. And I said, Gurudev, please come to Vancouver. Gurudev said, yes, I'm coming to your home.
So we were in a room full of Canadian darshans. By that time, Gurudev was like in his topmost opulence, right? 2007 and 8, and we're like, Gurudev, we have a desire to host you. And he's like, okay, I'll be there. And the room went silent because his plan was already there. There was a whole big Montreal Sangha was there. We were like just a few Vancouver devotees. And Montreal people were like, well, I think we're going to go to Montreal. No offense to Montreal devotees, but Gurudev's like, no, I'm going to go to Heman's home, and that's final. We were there panicking. We were like, oh my God, what did we just do? We have no clue. We just wanted to desire to serve Gurudev, to serve. And I think, we haven't really, when we look at ourselves, we feel so fallen and no advancement at all. But I feel like Srila Gurudev keeps us a little bit, in line and motivated by just giving us, I think he set that example and gave us that, maybe that blessing or that qualification. And hey, always use your homes in service. Keep on inviting Vaishnavas, keep on hosting them. Don't be afraid. I think that was a beautiful lesson that he gave me, or made it my duty to always be there for all his traveling preachers, to be there to open our homes to. I'm not going to take too much time, but I just want to say, well, thank you so much. We're just so blessed to have known, even though born and brought up in India, this is just such a new concept. I mean, nobody in India, I'm telling you, we're all so fortunate to be here. We had no clue. And I grew up, well, not a Vaishnava family like this, but like a Hindu
Very
family.
religious
uh,
bias.
Ram family, but Krishna name was not supposed to be uttered because I came from a family of 5 girls, sisters, so boyfriend was like, no. So, to really, I mean, I knew some Harikatha of Krishna, but to see Krishna like that, Srila Gurudev just gave us so much. So I'm always so blessed that we got to see Gurudev and Krishna, and Gurudev has at least shown us the path. It's now up to us how fast and how slow we follow on it. So thank you so much for giving us a chance to speak.
This is true. Gurudev is always partial. But it's also not true. Once upon a time, in Mathura, Keshavji Gauriamma, Gurudev raised this question to all the audience, where sannyasis, brahmacharis, grahasthas were sitting. So which ashram is superior? Sannyas or grahastha? So Guru said, how many of you say grahastha is superior? So of course, all grahasthas. Then Guru said, how many of you say sannyasis are superior? Then all brahmachari sannyasis. Guru said, you both are wrong. Both are of due respect. And both are very important. And both are related to each other. Buddha said, imagine if there is no grahastha ashram, from where sannyasis will take birth. They're not going to fall from sky. So Vaishnava families, they giving birth to brahmachari sannyasis. We have so many brahmachari sannyasis from beggar families from Hawaii and all these wonderful children. In future they're going to become preachers. They'll become brahmacharis. So it depends on parents, how you upbringing them, raising them, teaching them, guiding them. So much depends on parenting. The teachers are giving their best. I see Kanupriya Didi, Lalita Didi, so much working hard on the children to make them learn so much. Yesterday we heard wonderful explanation of Maha Mantra, each and every syllable, Hare Krishna, by Jeev Goswami commentaries. Even I don't know that. They know so much. And on the top of that, I gave them other project to learn Sanskrit part also. So imagine if young ones, they're speaking Maha Mantra. Wow, that's great. Said that, like almost 10 years back, I was preaching in North India, one a territory where there was ISKCON devotees, very prominent there, and we were like, I just entered in that town introducing Gaudiya Math. So there was like billboard, hoardings everywhere, and ISKCON devotees saw a speaker, Bhagavad Katha with Gaudiya Tilak. We must go there. Anyways, long story. But they all came to hear Harikatha. They never have heard this kind of Harikatha before, because I was just repeating words of Srila Gurudev. That's all. So they invited me in the Sunday program. And the president, he introduced his Prabhupada disciple, he's practicing 30 years, 40 years. I said, very good. I just said, they asked me to speak something. I said, I'm a fan of Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I came in Krishna consciousness by seeing the documentary, the life history of Srila Prabhupada. So, today our topic, what shall I speak on? He said, speak on Prabhupada or Mahaprabhu? I said, okay. Then what is the reason of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come? I want to know from all of you. What is the reason? So they saying Sankirtan, delivering conditioned souls, establishing Sankirtan, the dharma of this Kali Yuga. That's all. I said, that's all? Say yes. Then I have one brahmachari boy who was 15 years young. Also Srila Gurudev disciple, 15 years young. I asked him, I said, please stand up. And now you speak. What are the reasons of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come? He did Mangalacharan and he said, Shri Radha Pranay Vitati Haladi Shakti Rasma. All these verses, 3-4 verses. And everyone was shocked. A young boy. He said, this is the internal reason of Mahaprabhu to come. And there's external reasons, there's internal reasons. And he gave very good explanation. 30 minutes he spoke on Mahaprabhu. And later, in the last, he said, I learned this, I heard this and learned this from my Guru Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And everyone clapped there. Said, we never heard 30 years. This internal reasons of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this young boy. So makes, just by hearing this makes Srila Gurudev's name so, famous and everyone proud. So seeing these young ones with their hard endeavors by the teachers, teaching them Mahamantra, they will also learn by teaching the students. The Sanskrit, imagine after 1 or 2 years in assembly, if I ask any boy or girl, stand up, what is Hare Krishna Mahamantra? And they're speaking Sanskrit and explanation. And then you can say, they are grand disciple or disciples of Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And then it will not be a surprise for the entire world because they know. Srila Gurudev made everyone speaker. Not only sannyasis, brahmacharis, ladies, daughters, granddaughters, everyone is a speaker. Gurudev was like a chintamani, touchstone, touching anyone, making iron to gold. But as long as that iron bar kept in fire, it adopts the nature of fire. Moment the iron bar come out from fire, and after a while, the iron is not fire anymore. When we were in contact with Srila Gurudev, we were adopting that nature. The iron was turning to gold. The iron bar was adopting that association of that. But if we are getting out of this association of Srila Gurudev's eternal reasons to come on this planet, that association, very important to know and very important to adopt. If we are in that association, the iron, there is no value of iron. The iron will be like a gold. But if we come out of that association, iron has no value. Constant association of Gurudev. How this can be possible in his absence? He's gone. How this can be possible? He left us, with us, his treasure. And what is that treasure? His lectures, which our audio seva team is working day and night, and without any cost they are distributing to the entire world. How generous they are. In Vrindavan, Amrish Prabhu, Lavanga Didi, working day and night on those lectures. That's the treasure. And another treasure is the books of Srila Gurudev. So if we are constantly in that association, we will be always embracing Srila Gurudev's teaching. And if we start neglecting that and not even respecting that, his treasure, it will again turn back to iron. Understand? And that's the point where you start losing taste in spiritual matters. That's the is the beginning. It starts out. Therefore, just like we say, Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya, Nityam Gurudev books Sevaya. Every day. Make this habit. We have to make this habit. I'm preaching to myself. Making this habit to read Srila Gurudev book. One after another, one after another. He worked day and night on these books. That's his heart treasure. So that association is so important. So Gurudev, coming back to the story, Gurudev said, if there is no grastas, how sannyasis will take birth? So they have great contribution to produce sannyasis and brahmacharis. Another contribution is how the centers will run without donations. Sannyasis will not go out to work. They are going out preaching and their grastas are giving donations because they work. So that's why ashram centers dependent on grastas. And grastas, they depended on sannyasis. Because sannyasis, brahmacharis, preachers, any preacher, means not particular sannyasi, even grastas are preachers. So they read, they learn, they practice, and then they preach. And they give encouragement and inspiration, going here and there, all where, giving that inspiration in the heart, which is very, very important at this moment, in this time. When the whole world is going through so much turbulence, and there's so much conflicts and so much negativity. Preachers, grastas, brahmachari, sannyasi, whoever it is, vanprastha, they're taking so much pain, going everywhere, not to instruct, but to get instruct by speaking. And sharing together. This is congregation, congregational chanting. Sharing. I'm hearing something, you're hearing something, we all are hearing, and we're getting inspired. What gopis did when Krishna disappeared from their vision? They all sat together on the bank of Yamuna. And they start describing the qualities of Krishna. They start imitating the pastimes of Krishna. They glorify Krishna with different names. Because in separation from Krishna, only the name, qualities and pastimes can be taken equal to Krishna. Similarly, this system of congregational chanting, especially on this appearance and disappearance day of Srila Gurudev and other acharyas, we are following the same parampara. Krishna disappeared and gopis lamenting and remembering the pastimes of Krishna, the memories of Krishna. This is what we are doing here. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, acharyas disappeared from our vision. But only from our vision. Krishna was there and he was hearing. And then he manifests there. Sakshat Manmat Manmat. So Gurudev is present. Nitai Charana Satya Tahar Sevak Nitya. They are eternal. They are present. So what we are all doing here? We are trying to make appearance of Gurudev. Just like gopis, they sang in the lamentation, in separation, and they made the Krishna bound to appear there, helpless. Shri Krishna Akarshnicha. When we all together, Bhagavad Prabhu saying this morning, one straw so weak, and a big stack of straw is difficult to break. When we are all together, it's congregational, remembering, chanting the glories of Gurudev, who has disappeared from our vision, and we want to make his appearance in the heart. There's only one way. Together, hearing the glories of Gurudev, memories of Gurudev, the contribution of Gurudev, individually and universally. That's the only way. And this is what we are trying to do. But everyone has their own recipe to hold that and to understand the gravity of Gurudev. Everyone cannot be same. Understand? According to everyone's qualifications. And according to everyone's practices. Just like Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj used to say, Tomar Chena Bhakti Pragyan, Amar Chena Bhakti Pragyan at night. That means, Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj used to say to his Godbrothers, your understanding of Bhakti Pragyan and my understanding of Bhakti Pragyan is not same. The same Guru Tattva, but everyone takes according to what their adhikar, qualification. But together, hearing, speaking, hearing, speaking, hearing, speaking. We are gathering that qualification. And which comes with the inspiration. So that's our takeaway when we go. That's why appearance and also disappearance is so auspicious, because that's recharging our memories and feeling connection with Srila Gurudev. Otherwise, there's so many distractions to get us disconnected. Within devotee community and outside devotee community. So many distractions, so many, actually more, to get us disconnect from that source. But when there is rare chance to feel that connectivity, we should utilize and best utilization of that opportunity to feel that connectivity. That's why even the disappearance of Gurudev is auspicious, because we got together and remember his stories. We glorify him. The same system as the gopis are doing. To make appearance in the heart. So Gurudev said, Brahmachari, Grasthas are dependent on sannyasis, and sannyasis go around and speak Harikatha and encourage themselves and Grasthas. So they are dependent. So there is no consideration which ashram is superior or inferior. They both are dependent on each other. Jai bhajo, sei bado, abhakt hinchar, Krishna bhakti de nahi, jati kuladi vichar. One who worship more is superior. Doesn't matter one is grastha or sannyasi. Griye thako, mane thako, sada hari bane dako. Sukhe dukhe bole nako, vadane hari naam karo. Anyone who is in householder on sannyasi ashram. What? Worship of Naam Prabhu. That's the only our worship Naam Prabhu. When we chant more, with maturity, with understanding, is superior. And one who is superior is always be humble. A tree loaded with fruits is more bent. Is humble. So Gurudev, instructions to all of us, no matter sannyasis, brahmachari, grasthas, be humble and respect everyone. Be humble and respect everyone. Amanina manadena kirtane sarahari. Gurudev said, I always respected everyone in my life. I never disrespect anyone. But if anyone pointing out to my sampradaya, raising questions to my sampradaya, then I cannot keep silent there. But I always respect everyone. So I'm just concluding here, saying all glories to Srila Gurudev and all glories to his appearance state, and all glories to the devotees, Srila Gurudev's parikars, Srila Gurudev's associates, Srila Gurudev's each and every single devotee, no matter wherever they are situated. My obeisances to their lotus feet, I go down to them, because Krishna said, Tomar, Krishna dite paro, Tomar shapatiya. Gurudev is your, and you have the capacity to visit Gurudev. And I'm Kangal, I'm beggar, and I'm asking this, begging Gurudev. Ideals to Gurudev's preaching, instructions, I'm begging for that. can it become tadatme, oneness with my heart? I'm waiting for that day to come. Thank you so much. All disciples ki jai. So many seniors, please don't take my offense. Chiranjeevi Prabhu is also here. And we are going to have another 2 more sessions. Tomorrow again here. Yes. Tomorrow again here. And the last class will be in Shiva Sangam, all Prabhu's place. So I'll ask other devotees, all other devotees to also speak tomorrow and the after. So please don't take my offense. You have taken so much time. Sorry. Can we conclude with one bhajan? So we can conclude with one bhajan, one Mahamantra, and Ms. Jamna Didi and Prabhu has their child grain ceremony. So after this bhajan, then you bring the child and Kanupriya, please. It's okay.
Thank you.